Hello and welcome to the mid-season review. I'm Jack Pickering and alongside me here is Richard Wickson to give you what's happened so far this season and what's still yet to come. So, Richard, we've had an amazing season, 7 different winners in the first 11 races. Still Lotus haven't won, but you got 5 drivers still in it. Who's going to win this year?
Alonso. It's his time to shine, and this year he will shine through.
So a third World Championship, will that do Fernando Alonso? But to be honest, the top 5 all have a chance, because second to fifth have had, I think there's 8 points between them in the championship title, and I think Raikkonen will be up there after the next race, because it's his favourite track. It's Spa this weekend, but it's probably on right now, or we probably uploaded it too late. So Spa, Raikkonen's track, but last year we saw the Red Bull shine through, and so some people saying it's going to be with the Red Bulls this weekend. Do you see Raikkonen winning this weekend, Richard?
I don't see him winning. I see him coming in the top kind of 4, but I don't think it's going to be his weekend this weekend.
Well, the weather conditions look like normal Spa, but you never know until the practice, the qualifying, and the race has actually happened, as we found out in 2010. Because last year it was solely dry in the race. It was wet dry in the qualifying session. It was dry for the first few minutes in FP1. It was completely wet in FP3. And in FP2 it was damp, if I remember correctly. It's been 12 months. Yeah, I think that's right. But last year we didn't have Raikkonen, and the Lotus fits the conditions and fits the hot conditions with the soft and medium tyres usually, because it did well in Bahrain, it did well in Hungary last time out, came second and third respectively, and in Europe everything looks okay until Grosjean's alternator failed, and in the end Kimi came second and Schumacher got his first podium, which I was relieved with, and I was also relieved that Vettel got out. Yes, Spa this weekend. So what's your predictions? Who's going to win?
I'm not sure who's going to win. It's everyone's game this weekend, but it's going to be a good race, and hopefully there's going to be some crashes.
With Vettel.
Yes, including Vettel. Hopefully a couple of spin-outs with Vettel. And maybe Mark Webber could become on pole.
Well, yes, I've already done my predictions on Grand Prix Predictor, and I put Webber for pole, but I've still put Kimi Raikkonen for fastest lap and the victory, because of his great record at the track. So yeah, everything's looking nice. And on the point of Kimi Raikkonen, we've got Ferrari. Where will Massa go? People are saying Raikkonen will go, but I believe him to be signed on a 2-year contract with Lotus this year and next year, so he won't be moving. And also after 2009, when he got dumped by Ferrari to make way for Fernando Alonso, he said that he would never work with Montezemolo ever again. People who don't know whoever Montezemolo is, he's the president of Ferrari, the one who does the waves in FP3 at Italy.
Well, to be honest, I think Massa's going to be leaving Ferrari, and Sergio Perez will take his place.
That's exactly what I think. But where will Massa go?
I'm not sure. He's not going to go to a big team, so I'm thinking somewhere around Sauber, Williams, Toro Rosso, that kind of level.
Well, if he went to Sauber, he would do a direct swap with Sergio Perez, who is currently in Sauber and is brilliant in the wet dry races, as we saw in Malaysia, sadly running out. Otherwise, running out wide 4 laps from the end. Otherwise, we would have 8 different winners this season, and in consecutive order. A few people have already been signed for next year. Webber and Vettel have already been confirmed at Red Bull. Button has been confirmed at McLaren, but Hamilton hasn't, but everyone knows Hamilton is going to retain with McLaren, no doubt about that. Raikkonen, like I said, has been signed for Lotus for next year. Alonso has got the longest contract in Formula 1 till 2016 at Ferrari. Rosberg has signed till the end of 2014, and the lower teams have actually signed a couple of drivers. HRT have still got Pedro Della Rosa and Timo Glock. So those are the people who have signed, but like I said, people who haven't signed, the likes of Hamilton, Grosjean, and other people like that. To be honest, Verne doesn't look good this year, so I think he's going to be replaced by Toro Rosso by former Toro Rosso driver Jaime Alguersuari. He is currently working for the BBC. I'm not sure if that's only on a 1-year contract. It's actually very rare in Formula 1 for people to have second chances, but as we saw this year, Grosjean has come back after he replaced Nelson Piquet at the end of 2009.
To be honest, the only people who I really want to go this year are Senna, because he's had such a rubbish year and he's not going to improve by the looks of it. And the people who I want to stay are Paul di Resta and a couple of other Brits.
Where do you want Paul di Resta to go? Because some people are saying he will stay at Force India, but I put him. Well, I've literally done some predictions for the teams and drivers for next year, and I put di Resta at Mercedes, because Schumacher, if he goes into next year, he will be 44.
Is he the oldest F1 driver then?
Not on the grid, yes, but not in the 62-year history of Formula 1. Because I think I remember reading once that the oldest Formula 1 winner was 55 years old. And that's another 11 years older than Schumacher will be if he starts next year.
He's not going to do too long. I think he's going to have 1 or 2 poles this year. But
he already has had one in Monaco, but then he had the 5-place penalty, which put him down 6th, and then he lost even more positions at the start and sadly retired. Schumacher's season hasn't been the best, but if he hadn't retired, Mercedes, I think, would be in front of McLaren in the Constructors' Championship with their double DRS. Because Hamilton had a grid penalty in China, and that moved Mercedes' Michael Schumacher onto the front row, and then sadly retired after a loose wheel nut. He hasn't had the best of seasons. Australia, he crashed out with the problem. I've forgotten what that problem was. It may have been KERS. In Malaysia, he spun out after qualifying 3rd, and sadly finished 10th, 1 point, first point for Mercedes, but then his teammate came along and won in China.
there was only one crash. Well, it wasn't really a crash that actually interests me, and that was Vettel getting his puncture.
Which one was that?
I can't remember. It was
yes, that was Malaysia.
Yeah.
Him calling Cartagena a cucumber. That's gonna be.
And then Cartagena calling him a crybaby.
Yes, that was quite funny. So yeah, but on the case of Schumacher, like I said, in China he had a loose wheel nut.
I reckon next year's going to be his last year if he does sign.
Yeah, he is 44, and
he's getting old.
Pedro de la Rosa is quite old, but yet I said he was signed for HRT for another year after that. But Schumacher in Bahrain, he got 1 point, up to 2 points. That's good. But then in where was it? Spain, he had that contact with Bruno Senna, which gave him a 5-place penalty. And I was really confused with Schumacher's actions in that race because he was really annoyed. You could see how annoyed he was, but yeah, it was his fault. Monaco had that brilliant pole position, but then got knocked 5 places back because of the Senna incident. And so after that, then he retired from the race, and sadly, with another problem, because I saw Jean-Éric Vergne go past him, and if the rain did come down in Monaco, everyone switched to the Inters. I think Jean-Éric Vergne could have won Toro Rosso's first race since Sebastian Vettel in 2008. So yeah, Canada, the DRS or RFA, whatever you want to call it, was kept open. Europe, he got that amazing podium, which I was relieved with. Britain, he came 7th, I think it was. Well done to him, getting some points. Germany, he did well. I've forgotten where he finished though. He finished up there. I think it may have been. No, he didn't. He didn't finish up there. He was up there on the qualifying day and dropped off. I remember Nico Hulkenberg in the Force India passing him at 1 point. And actually, that could have been 2 pit stops. I can't remember, but he finished around the same place as he did in Silverstone, that race. And then Hungary, I have no idea what happened, but he retired from the race about 10 laps from the end. And I think we'll all remember what happened with Schumacher at the beginning of that race. 1 lap being knocked off the end of the race, and because of him stalling. I don't think it was him stalling, because he then said on the radio that the 3 yellow lights were on, which means aborted start, turn your engines off. So Charlie must have seen something else elsewhere.
So it could have been something on the track.
Could have been somewhere on the track, don't know where. So yeah, and he is entering his 300th Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps this weekend, but I don't think he's going to beat Barrichello's record, which he did. He had his 300th in Spa in 2010 as well. So the people who I have put down for the 2013 F1 teams and drivers are at Red Bull, Vettel and Webber; at McLaren, Hamilton and Button; Lotus, Raikkonen and Grosjean; Ferrari have Alonso and Perez; Mercedes, Rosberg and Di Resta; Sauber have Kobayashi and Gutierrez. Gutierrez is at the moment driving for the Lotus GP team in GP2, which he's doing quite well in. So we'll have to look out for him, because I think he will join Sauber next year, because he's a Mexican. Then they will have all the Mexican support with them as well as Ferrari. And then you have Force India. Nico Hulkenberg, I think he'll stay with another year at Force India. But I put the teammate as Kovalainen because, well, we'll get to that bit afterwards. I didn't originally think Kovalainen at Force India in the first place. And because this is the reason why. Williams have Pastor Maldonado and Felipe Massa. Now, I said that I would speak about Kovalainen, and you may have thought I may have cut it out because I made a mistake. Well, I haven't. I originally thought Kovalainen would go to Williams, and then I thought Massa could go to Caterham, but then I thought no, I like Petrov at Caterham, but we'll get to his teammate later on. So I originally put Kovalainen at Williams, but then I put Massa at Williams to replace Kovalainen. He went up to Force India, and so Toro Rosso have Ricciardo. He did well. He's only scored 2 points this season, which is 2 less than Jean-Éric Vergne did, but still Jean-Éric Vergne looks like the worst driver. No offence to any French people watching who are a fan of Toro Rosso and like Jean-Éric Vergne, but to be honest, he's shit. So I think he will be replaced by former Toro Rosso driver Jaime Alguersuari, currently working for the BBC on the radio, alongside James Allen / Jonathan Ledyard, because they keep on alternating. So Caterham will have Valsecchi, who is currently second in the GP2 standings, but is very close with Louis Razzia, and the GP2 rules is you can't compete in the season after if you have won the GP2 championship, so you get different people each year. And that sort of reminds me of Nigel Mansell in 92 winning the championship, and then he didn't race in 93. And so Valsecchi's teammate will be Vitaly Petrov. Timo Glock, like I said, had a contract at Marussia, and I think Louis Razzia will join Marussia. So then we get down to the worst team on the grid. No offence, guys, but it's HRT. So, like I said, Della Rossa, surprisingly, he's gone from a test driver at McLaren to having a 2-time contract at HRT, which I'm very confused with. But there was all speculation last year about Danny Kloss making HRT the Spanish national team, but in the end that never happened, and Narain Kartikeyan did the sign for them. But I think Danny Kloss is going to join HRT. So Richard, is there anybody on there that you would put in different places?
No, I think that's my kind of ideal setup for the 2013 F1 calendar.
Well, for the teams and drivers on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Schumacher thing. I think he'll go one more year, but that'll be his last. That's
what Barrichello said at the end of last year, but yet you can see him racing in IndyCar, which doesn't look good. Just forget about me saying that it didn't look good, but no one really watches it here in the UK unless they watch it via YouTube. But so yeah, I think Rubens is doing well in the championship, but I think he's in 8th. I'm not sure where his teammate Tony Khan is in the championship, but Barrichello said that if he stayed with Williams, he would score more points. And Richard, what's your opinion on that? Because they brought in Bruno Senna thinking this is going to be brilliant, but he did bring 14 million euros with him to Williams.
He's not going to be good at all. No ways, nothing.
That's why I haven't put him on the calendar for next year. But Pastor Maldonado's victory was just luck.
I think they've kind of, as he's a Senna, they've kind of assumed that he'll be as good as the greatest driver ever, Ayrton Senna. But no, he's not that good and he's rubbish.
Yeah, but not as bad as Jean-Eric Verne.
Or
Rain Carter Kane. I'm just not a Verne fan, but if the rain came down in Monaco, Jean-Eric Verne, I think, would have won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Really?
Because he switched to Inters first, and so he would have gone round on Inters and got the feel for it, and then everybody was like struggling, so he would close in on the guys. They would pit, Jean-Eric Verne's at the front. So I think that's the teams and drivers sorted. The calendar next year, we've got the Circuit of the Americas this year for the United States. It does look like a good track, but it's a tilty track, so unnecessary straights and tricky corners. Good luck with that, guys. The next year, Bernie did say, no, we're not gonna, no changes for next year. But there is on the calendar for next year the American Grand Prix, not to be confused with the United States Grand Prix, because they say that they're ahead of schedule, but Bernie says that that they won't do it. So, Richard, the American Grand Prix next year, is it going to happen?
No. They've already got one Grand Prix of the United States of America Grand Prix. Why need two? That's just being greedy.
Well, there is, say, on the London Grand Prix, which would take us around Westminster. The original plan was for the Olympic Park, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. So, I think that's the calendar pretty much sorted out. The American Grand Prix is going to be the week after the Canadian Grand Prix, I believe. And so, let's just go. I think this will be probably one of the last things that we will talk about. The games that are coming out this year. You've got F1 2012, which is coming out in under 1 month on September the 21st. I've already pre-ordered it. It looks quite good. So, yes, I'll bring out a review, and I'll be joined by Alex Rose as well at the same time. So that looks quite good for next year. But
haven't you got like that F1 kart game?
Yes, F1 Race Stars, or as I like to call it, Super Vettel Kart. It's literally just a family-friendly version to describe Formula 1. And
without Vettel waving his finger at you.
I call it Super Vettel Kart, so because he is the defending world champion and everything. But I think it looks a very fun game, and I just wish it came out on Wii like Mario Kart Wii did.
Yeah.
But sadly, it's only coming out on PC, which practically everybody has. Everybody has a PC, unless you have a Mac or a laptop. Because I doubt that the laptop will run it. No offense.
No, it won't. It's
So yeah, F1 Race Stars looks quite hilarious, to be honest. And I can't wait for both games to come out. But there will be a demo for the F1 2012 game, which is due to come out on a week before the actual game comes out. But at the moment, you'll be seeing some pictures of F1 2012 and F1 Race Stars. They look quite good. I think Codemasters have done a super job ever since the end of 2009, because they've worked on 2010 since the end of 2009, and I have to admit, 2009 wasn't their best one.
It's good, but it's not as good as it could have been.
No, but then again, the PSP and the Nintendo consoles don't have that good graphics. I think I saw the trailer for the F1 2011 game on the 3DS, and that didn't look quite good. So that pretty much brings us to the end of the season review.
Half season review.
The mid-season review. So let me just leave you with something. At the beginning of the year, we saw the teams much closer together, and Ferrari didn't look good. They were behind the Williams and sometimes even the Caterhams, which was quite bad. And as you can see, how bad the Caterhams are doing at the moment. They said that they would get through to Q2, but they still haven't. In Melbourne, you had both Ferraris knocked out in the second part of qualifying. And so that wasn't the best way to start the year, but Fernando Alonso came back up through the points, and so we've reached all the way through the races. A shock win in Malaysia. He won thanks to Vettel's problem in Europe, and in Germany he just dominated the race. And so Ferrari didn't look good at the beginning of the year, but halfway through they have the best package. We'll see you at the end of the season. Cheers, Rachel, for joining me. Goodbye.